Assalamualaikum. My name is Nohaifa Adila and I will present the introduction and country custom part. Our paper is consists of our discussion about Qatar oil and gas industry. Other than that, we also study about the chosen cargo for import and export activity in Qatar oil and gas industry. With this study, we describe the cargo and why Qatar industry use this cargo, as well as the advantage they gain by utilizing this cargo. We also highlighted and elaborate the econ term we choose, which is DAT in our study. Besides that, rules and regulation involving Qatar's oil and gas industry also have been reviewed in this paper, including the international rules and regulation regarding this matter, not excluding the oil and gas import regulation. On the other hand, we analyze the problem we as importer might face regarding custom procedure and tax and what the action we need to take to tackle this problem. Fun fact, Qatar is one of the world's fastest growing economy. The economy of the country is primarily focused on oil and natural gas export. After Russia and Iran, Qatar hold the third largest natural gas reserve. In 1970, Qatar Petroleum, which is owned by the government, is responsible for all Qatar's oil and gas industry. So as you can see, this is the maps of Qatar, and the green one is Qatari oil area, and the red one is Qatari gas area. So this is among the common import restriction from Qatar. As you know, Qatar is an Islamic country, so the most important thing is you are forbidden to import any pork product. Other than that, for all imported meat, you are required to present a health certificate issued by the country of export and a halal slaughter certificate issued by an authorized Islamic center in that country. The importation of alcoholic drinks and drugs is also prohibited, and import of any product from Israel are not allowed. Qatar legislation also ban electronic cigarette, liquid and other related items such as electronic shisha pipe from being imported, marketed and purchased.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and have a good day. My name is Iskandar Zulkarnain Rashkafur, matrix number 273716, and I'm going to present about cargo choosing. For the transportation, we choose the sea transportation because it seems to be the best choice for Qatar for importing the kerosene oil. The location plays an important role in using sea transportation as it can show the actual distance from one country to another and to easier the process of shipping. For instance, the distance from Iraq to Qatar is considerable for sea transportation and also increase effectiveness of the transportation. Next, the high volume of the oil that importing makes sea transportation is the best choice. Sailing with high volume of oil can actually having a risk for road and also rail transportation. So sea transportation seems to be the best transportation method for this activity. Next, I am going to explain about the Incoterms used for this activity. The Incoterm used is delivered at terminal, or also known as DAT. DAT is where the seller clears the goods for export and it's entirely liable for the goods before they enter the terminal in question at the final destination. These are the benefits of using DAT. The first one, goods delivered to the right place. Importer does not have to pay for all of the expenses before the goods are safely delivered at the place or port. Second one is strict rules. The exporters bears the responsibility and rules related to the delivery of the goods from the origin until the final destination. The third one is to reduce risk to the importer. The risk is transferred from the exporter to the importer once the goods are safely landed at the port, and the importer also has the right before returning the goods without paying if any broken or wrong goods has been transferred.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Rafiq Ahmad bin Muhammad Halmi, number metric 273821, and I will continue the presentation. In this slide, we will discuss about the oil and gas industry rules and regulation in Qatar. As of today, about a third of the oil and a fifth of the natural gas consumed in the world comes from the marine regions. The national law governing offshore oil and gas operations vary considerably. Some laws seek to resolve the environmental implication of the offshore drilling and mining, while others depend entirely on promoting the production of the offshore operation. For your information, all of Qatar's natural resources belong to the state, and the Ministry of Energy, headed by the governor, exercises the regulatory administration of the energy industry, including oil and gas production, operations, and also the distribution. This is being stated in the Article 2 of the law in the exploitation of natural resources, provides that all natural resources shall be the properties of the state ministry. Now, let me introduce you to one of the oil and gas industry in Qatar. In Qatar, there is the National Oil Distribution Company, or known as NODCO. This company established in the 1968 and 100% owned by Qatar General Petroleum Company, or known as QGPC. Besides that, NODCO has been supplying lead-free premium gasoline for the local market and export since 1984. The purpose of this firm is to manufacture lead-free super gasoline by mid-1992, thereby adding to the safety of the atmosphere and providing additional returns. By saying so, Qatar is the first country in the Arab world to manufacture lead-free petrol. Next, we have the oil and gas import market. Import licenses are given only to Qatari citizens or to a Qatari partner during an indebtedness relationship and must be licensed by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. This law also extends to wholly owned foreign companies based in Qatar. Furthermore, in March 2017, Qatar Solar Technologies, a polysilicon manufacturing facility in Qatar with a capacity of 8,000 metric tons and annually, with plans to expand its capacity to 50,000 metric tons per year, announced its first production of polysilicon. All goods imported into Qatar are subject to customs supported the proportion value of the product, usually 5% or support per item. The price of the product shall be determined in compliance with the Custom and Port Acts. Next, moving on to the environmental rules and regulations. Environmental legislation can be said to have a beneficial effect on the gas drilling industry. Current policies aimed at lowering greenhouse gas emission primarily have a detrimental effect on established coal-fired power plants. The economic effects of this have led to an artificial acceleration of the natural gas market. These are some regulations that Qatar used in order to sustain their oil and gas industry. First, we have the Clean Air Act. The result of the Clean Air Act are mostly beneficial for the gas drilling industry. The main purpose of the act is to minimize greenhouse gas emission with the long-term goal of a 95% reduction in unstable organic compounds. Furthermore, there are benefits for organizations that adopt this technology ahead of time. Technology helps natural gases to be caught and processed and sold instead of being emitted as waste. Besides that, we also have the Environmental Impact Assessment, or known as EIAs. When issuing a license for a new project or making any changes to a current project, it must ensure that the relevant project is carried out, which is in the Article 15 European Patent Law. First, they need to use the latest technologies available commercially to reduce emission and avoid environmental harm. Then, appropriate methods are used to ensure compliance with environmental legislation. Persons engaged in the planning, implementation, and operation of a project should ensure that the legislation and the rules and regulations issued pursuant to it comply with the Article 18 European Patent Law. Last but not least, we have the Rules and Regulation International Trade for Oil and Gas. In 1996, Qatar became a member of the WTO, which is the World Trade Organization. Many import prices are subject to tariff lines between the duty-free and 5%. The business also has an increasing international footprint. As far as gas prices are concerned, they are generally subject to long-term negotiations between countries and their national oil and gas firms and are related to the crude oil prices. There are currently no limitations of the export of production, although regular export controls which extend to such items for protection purposes. But there is one law, number 13 of 1963, which is regulation the Israel boycott. It prohibits the transport of goods on vehicles or ships registered in Israel or any direct or indirect trade with persons or entities located in Israel or holding Israeli nationality. So I think that's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. I bid to Dr. Salwani. My name is Nur Shahida binti Mashraf with metric number 273675. I'm going to explain on the customs, regulations and standards of importing oil and gas into Qatar. So, the custom regulations and import tariff is that Qatar is a member of the Customs Union of the Gulf Cooperation Council, or known as the GCC. Also, Qatar imposes 5% tariff on a variety of goods in compliance with GCC customs unions. Tariff exemptions is also given to common agricultural products such as wheat, corn, rice, etc. Also, 20% tariff for iron bars and rods, and Qatar maintains customs duty on imports of 5% ad valorem under Customs Law 2002. Next, importers are required to have an importation license by statute which shall be registered with Ministry of Commerce and Industry of Qatar. Also, importers need to send all the documents required such as comprehensive customs declaration, bill of lading, certificate of origin, pro forma invoice, and import authorization for the clear from customs zones at the port. And also, the Customs and Ports General Authority should collect all the information needed. Next, inspection of goods is carried out at customs station as ordered by the Director General. Legal invoices, official certificates of origin, and packaging lists for shipments to Qatar are needed by Qatar Customs. Last but not least, it is also compulsory to write the commodity HS code, otherwise the shipping will not be approved for the custom clearance. Next, there are some of the custom procedures should be followed by the importer of Qatar to import the oil and gas into Qatar. The first one is the importer, his agent, or the approved custom broker shall electronically complete the customs or import declaration. Second, all required documents as well as documents to be attached must be presented to the Custom Office of Qatar. Third, the goods are subjected to the custom taxes and duties set out in the Common Customs Tariff. Fourth, goods are subject to review and inspection on the basis of requirements for risk assessment. The customs or import documents shall be printed electronically in compliance with the automatic method of clearance available at the Customs Office. And lastly, issuance of the order of departure and the delivery of the goods. That is all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I bid to my lecturer and my fellow classmate. My name is Safiana Mitikari Azli, metric number 273A46. Today I would like to present regarding the international commercial document for our company. The first commercial document is the commercial invoice. It is a legal contract authorized in the course of an international transaction by seller or exporter to the buyer or importer. Serve as a contract and evidence of sale between the buyer and the seller. Commercial invoice also describe precisely what the buyer or importer are billed for. Normally, commercial invoice will be prepared by the exporter towards the courier. So this is the commercial invoice that have been prepared by our exporter, Kiel Oil Company. The next document in commercial document is import document. The import document will be prepared by our side, which is the importer. The first import document is Certificate of Origin or Manufacturer, COO. certificate of inspection, pre-shipment inspection, certificate of certification, certificate of free sales, and also import license. This is the certificate of origin prepared by our company, NZ Superior Ltd. Certificate of origin is a document which declares within which region a product or good has been produced. The certificate of origin is a vital part required by many cross-border treaty agreements because it can help identify whether such goods are qualified for importation or whether goods are subject to duties. So as you can see in the certificate of origin, we are going to import a kerosene or jet fuel over 170 barrels. Next, we have the Certificate of Inspection. Certificate of Inspection is a document verifying that the product were in excellent condition, usually immediately before use at the time of inspection. In this case, as you can see, we already gained the Certificate of Inspection for the 170 barrels of kerosene or jet fuel. Next, we have pre-shipment inspection, which is a document used to ensure that the product comply with the regulation and that the invoice correctly represent the form of product delivered and their worth of exporter. So as you can see here, our barrels of kerosene has been inspected by the state of Qatar pre-shipment verification conformity. This is another pre-shipment inspection which contain the product and also all the inspection result. We also have Certificate of Conformity, which is a document that indicates the substance meets the requirements or specification required. So I can see right here, this is our Certificate of Conformity of the 170 barrels which we import from Iraq. The Certificate of Sales or Free Sales Certificate is a certificate required by the importing country to verify that the goods are already available in the country of origin. So as you can see here, we already verified that the kerosene or jet fuel is already in the country. Last but not least, our import document is import license. Import license is a document prepared by the importing country and intended to avoid the importation into developed country or of non-essential or unnecessary luxury goods which are not supplied in foreign currency. Here we can see the import license of our CEO, the CEO of NZ Superior, Ms. Safiano binti Khalid Aziz, from Qatar Nation to have the right and legally involved in importing activities. The third commercial document is transportation document, which we have two, bill of lading and also shipper's letter of instruction. Bill of lading is a document issued by the carrier to the shipper or exporter. A bill of lading is a form of contract between the carrier and the shipper as an agreement to transport the good for a specific amount. This bill of lading has been prepared by our exporter, which is Kiel Oil Company, to the courier. Next, our exporter also prepared the shipper's letters of instruction, which is a document prepared by the shipper if the shipping company require a specific instruction on how the goods or product being transported. Since we are transporting oil, there are specific letter of instruction that need to be given to our courier so that the product can be exported and imported safely. That is all the international commercial document that our company and also our exporter prepare in order to import the 170 barrels of kerosene or jet fuel to our country, Qatar, from Iraq. That's all for me. Thank you.
Lastly, conclusion. From our study, we can conclude that the success of Qatar is impossible to achieve if their transportation facility and infrastructure for import and export activity is left behind. There are several types of transportation that can be used for importing the oil and gas from Iraq to Qatar, such as road, rail, and sea. But after we analyze the advantage and disadvantage for both transportation modes, we came to the conclusion that sea transportation is the best choice because um, this transportation mode is more cost effective and safe to deliver a high volume of oil compared to road transportation. And then the perfect incoterm to use in Qatar's oil and gas import activity is deliver at terminal, or we also known as DAT. DAT can be used in any form of transportation and is the importer. So lastly, as an importer, the most important thing is to understand and in compliance with the country rules and regulation, as well as the custom and procedure and taxes. That's all from me. Thank you.